Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to give you a brief overview of each of the 12 projects that we do at Smash Cake Teaching. If you would like more details, please download the free year-long scope and sequence using the link below. So the curriculum is composed of 12 student-led projects that help students refine their English language arts skills in a real-world and engaging way. So for the most part, each of the 12 projects follow a same structure. On the first day, I will do what I call a Mastery Day overview, where I hand out the rubric that I will be using to grade them, and I will hand out a guide. And on this guide and rubric, it will have the objective for the unit, and it will have the expectations of, or what they're graded on. And so we will go over those in detail, and I will take time to answer any questions that they have. And for most of the project, I've blocked out an entire day to do this so that the kids have a really clear sense of what they are doing and why they are doing it. Then after the Mastery Day overview, we spend a couple days building background knowledge that they will need to be successful on Mastery Day. And after they've built some background knowledge, they have several days to work on their project and reflect on their progress. And then the best part, it's my favorite part, is Mastery Day, where they showcase their projects and I get to enjoy the students' creativity. It's so much fun. So after the students have showcased their projects, then we do a little Socratic seminar together and just reflect on the entire process together. And this can be an academic conversation, and it can also just be a really fun conversation to reflect on fun things that happened, things that were hard, things that went well, things that didn't go well. And then we do a final reflection where the student reflects on their growth throughout the entire unit. And you could choose to make the final reflections as part of their grade, or you could just simply focus on the rubric, whatever works for you best. So let's go through a little brief overview of each of the projects so you can kind of get an idea of how they work together and build on each other. Now, I've done them in order in a way that makes sense to me, but you could absolutely change the order. You don't have to do all of the projects. You can pick and choose your favorites. Please do whatever works for you. So during the first few days of school, we focus on intentionally building a positive classroom culture. We spend time creating classroom norms as a class based on what values are most important to the students. We talk about how they can individually contribute to a positive classroom culture. We write a letter to ourselves and then fold it in some cute origami, or not. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. And we also spend some time talking about journaling and the benefits that it provides in our lives. And I provide them with a few resources and strategies for journaling so that they can become better writers. Also, a significant amount of time will be spent on making sure that students know the policies and procedures for every single thing that goes on in the classroom. Where do they sharpen their pencil? How do they go to the bathroom? How do they contact the teacher? What are the expectations for behavior? How do we move the desks? Where do we turn stuff in? All of that stuff. A significant amount of time needs to be spent on that so that you can have order in the classroom, because if there is not order, nobody is learning and it's too chaotic to have any fun. So a lot of time is spent on that as well, and other housekeeping things that will be specific to your school and district. So our very first project of the year sets the foundation for cultural beliefs and values. Something that's really important to me as a teacher is for students to be able to express their beliefs in a clear and coherent way with evidence, and to be able to listen to other people's beliefs even if they disagree with them. I want to set the foundation for that by having the students study mythology and how our cultural beliefs and values are reflected and even created by stories. So students will pick any myth that they want to, and they can analyze how that myth has influenced modern culture. And each of the following projects will connect back to this unit, because we will somehow, in one way or another, connect every unit back to cultural beliefs and values. For the second project, students pretend that they work for a blog, and they have to create any sort of informational content for that blog. And it's a blog designed for teenagers, so it's something that's interesting and fun for them. This is a good project to start at the beginning of the year, I think, because it's just informational, it's not argumentative, it's not creative writing. It's kind of like a report to dip their toes into starting a new school year. But it's fun because it's related to teenagers. So they get to pick any sort of informational content and then post it on a website. Now, you could create a real website if you would like to, Or, which I would encourage you to do so then everybody can see each other's work, or you could just say, pretend that you work for a website and have them turn it in on paper. I think it's best to do an actual website so then they can create videos or podcasts or something like that and they're not confined to paper, but you do whatever works for you. So the next unit is a narrative poem. This is a really quick unit where we just read a couple poems, talk a little bit about figurative language, and then write our own poem about where we come from. And they can use the Where I'm From template if they would like, or they could do something else totally on their own. And then for Mastery Day, the students literally post their poems on a wall somewhere, and it's really quiet. Kids walk around and just give affirmations on each of the poems. I learned this from a teacher on Cult of Pedagogy, and I will link below so you can read more about it there. So now that they've done some informational writing and some creative writing, it's time for some argumentative writing. And for this project, which is one of my most favorites, they pretend that they work for a magazine, and I've based this off of Time magazine, but for copyright issues, I haven't added Time magazine in any of the worksheets or guided notes or anything like that. But go to timemagazine.com or time.com or whatever it is and look at their most influential people, and this unit will make a lot more sense to you. But they pretend that they work for a magazine that showcases influential people, and they have to pick somebody that they think is the most influential and deserves to be on the cover of the magazine. And so they have to argue why that person is more influential than other people. And the teacher should actually pick somebody who wins that argument and who gave the best argument, and whoever does, their person gets to be on the cover of their magazine. Next is the book club. So in groups, students will read a book of their choice, and they will come together as a group and talk about the elements of literature within the book. They will talk about what they liked and didn't like, and then they will write a review as if they were given a free copy and for a review on Goodreads. After the book club, students will pretend that they are the boss of a company, and they have to give a presentation to their new recruits showing what their expectations are for working at their company, what their logo is and what it symbolizes, what success looks like at their company, and what their company's values are. They have to write a mission statement, and then they have to give a little handout to their new recruits about what their company is and what it looks like and what their values represent and stuff like that. Then the next project is a documentary, or if students want to do a podcast or something different, they could totally do that too. But they pretend that they work for Netflix, and they have to create a documentary that shows two sides or multiple sides of one issue. They're not allowed to take one side. They just have to completely, without bias, report on an issue and the multiple sides of that issue. After the documentary, students will pretend that they have been contacted by a YouTuber, and they have been asked to come and participate in a Socratic seminar where they discuss controversial topics, where they try to find common ground. And students will take time to research certain topics and come prepared to the Socratic seminar with textual evidence. And we will talk about how we can have civil discussions and agree and disagree politely. At this point in the year, students have worked really hard doing projects that the teacher has required. Now I'm going to let them have some time to do a passion project. And this takes a little bit of bravery, but you can do it. It's going to be so good. So what you do is you just tell the students that they can do any sort of project that they want to, as long as it's related to language arts. And there's documents in there that will help provide order to this, so it's not just a free-for-all. There's still a lot of rigor, there's still a lot of work involved, but as far as what the students can do, the sky is the limit. After the passion project, the classroom will transform into a publishing company, and the students will work together to create a classroom magazine. The students will apply for jobs, and the teacher will hire them, and students will be assigned roles such as the editor-in-chief, editors, as well as writing staff. So after a school year of examining, questioning, and refining their own beliefs, students will end the year writing a This I Believe essay. And then they will create a quick little TED Talk explaining those beliefs in an engaging way. Then the last few days of school, the students will spend some time reading the letter that they wrote to themselves. They will also write a letter to incoming students, and then we'll just do housekeeping stuff like yearbook signing and all of the other junk that comes with the end of the school year. So for more information, go to the Scope and Sequence, download it for free using the link below, and then look at the previews of each of the units. And if you have any questions, post them here. Thanks everybody, go smash it.